Hello, good evening. Jorge here with Avalos Cloud Native and Nexus Technologies. And today I have posted maybe 5 or 6 videos for the playlist that we have for blockchain technologies right here. Okay, there's a few videos we talk about smart contracts, some basic concepts. I also have some previous videos about deploying the Hyperledger fabric, and feel free to also check the other playlists that we have for different things. The Cloud Underground, which is our main community for the learning microservices and cloud native. I'm one of the leaders along with the creator, Sensei Nato. That's how I call him. Well, that's how he calls himself. And yeah, so let's keep going with our class about blockchain technologies. And let's take a look to one document that I have over here. And let's simplify this, explain this part in here, okay? So we were talking about blockchain technologies, okay? We did explain today about the membership services. We talk about the layer, transactions, and all this. So let's go over this, okay? So first of all, the Hyperledger fabric was developed to be modular, right? So you have a model, a package, right? A model, a separate framework for identity. Okay, you have one for the ledger, you have one for transactions, you have one for smart contracts. Okay, so basically, maybe the identity one, maybe I don't want to use the one from Hyperledger. Maybe I want to use something else. Maybe something that I develop in house. Same for the layer or same for the smart contracts. All I'm saying is that you can separate all these. This could be something, it could be something, it could be something else. Modular. Okay. So you can develop some stuff in-house, or you can develop or maybe hire a company to do the work for you, or maybe you want to use what the Hyperledger is providing you. The truth is that whether you develop your own or you use the Hyperledger main packages or modules, the way these things communicate with each other, this with this, this with this, this with this, and all together, because there is many components, right? There is peers, there is nodes, there is orders, there is a membership service providers, right? They all use APIs, okay? Or application programmable interface, APIs, okay? So this is how these things they talk to each other. There is many different kinds of APIs. The main ones used by the Hyperledger is the gRPC, better called as a Google. Oh, see here, better called as a Google remote code procedure. Yeah, RPC actually. Let's delete this. Let's make it clean. Okay. Google. Oh, Google remote procedure call. That's one API type that is being used in here. Okay. That's developed by Google, and the Hyperledger Fabric use that one. The next one is called the REST API. Everyone knows the REST API. Well known out there. All right, so you know now that this is modularity involved in here. Everything talks to the API. These ones are the main APIs used by the Hyperledger Fabric. Something else that you need to know, the components. So in identity, you know you have membership service providers. You have an enrollment process. You have attributes. Maybe you have age as an attribute, size or height or something. Then you have the layer and the transactions. Well, you know those two are involved. They have something to do with the consensus, right? So the distributor layer, which is basically it's the accounting book. Then you got the ordering service, which is it takes all the blocks, all the transactions, and it gets submitted to the layer, right? You have the network protocol. You have the endorsements. So the ordering service and the endorsement are separate. Why? Because endorsement is basically a peer, and the committer is also a peer, right? And then you have the smart contracts. The smart contracts are basically chain code. That's how Hyperledger call it. And then inside there, every node, or every container, or every peer, we have a copy of the layer right here. Everyone have a copy of the layer for the containers, right? So the container is basically the peer or node, and it could be basically an endorsement, and it will endorse or commit the transaction, and it will send it to the ordering service, and the ordering service will send it here to this to the distributed layer. Okay, so the peer or nodes will have a copy of the smart contracts. They will have a copy of the smart contracts, so they can execute. They could be invoked to complete a transaction through the smart contracts. Because if there is no smart contract, you cannot communicate with the blockchain. Like it will be, you cannot submit transactions. You need smart contracts, an application. Okay, so that's how it works. So now you have new concepts, APIs, which is the Google RPC, the REST API, which are the most common ones for the Hyperledger fabric. You know that everything is modularity here, separate, right? You can develop your own. You can use the one for Hyperledger, right? Maybe you bring your own API that you made for yourself, and you make everything talk to each other. You know that peers have a copy of the layer and also have a copy of the smart contract, so they could be invoked and complete the transaction. You know there is containers. That's why we love microservices, and we teach microservices in here because they relate to each other. You know, the ordinary service is the one that get all the blocks and that is submitted to the blockchain. That's why it's called blockchain. Blockchain. Okay. And you know that the person or the responsible for endorsing the transactions are the peers. Okay. The network protocol, right? The network protocol, I would say, yeah, what would network protocol will be? I would say that's something to do with APIs because that's how they talk to each other, right? It's not like it's not gonna be like UDP, right? Right? Especially when we're trying to authenticate, so some kind of handshake has to happen, right? So yeah, and the transactions, which are the ones who keep a record of hashes, hash from the previous transaction, hash from the new transaction, and before and after, right? Key pairs plus the hash. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Jorge here with Avalos Cloud Native. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me. Do contact me if you want to be part of my community. Do contact me if you want to grow, if you want to learn about personal development, if you want to just make new friends, whatever, in a new community, new life, new beginning for yourself. I'm not sure. So we're here to help. Thank you very much, Jorge. Have a good night. Bye.